All right, we are live with an instant reaction podcast here. It's just me tonight. Thanksgiving night's kind of tough for everyone, so here I am recording on my own. And the Patriots with a real tough loss, unfortunately, on Thanksgiving night. I think uh, the story of the game really should be the officials. I mean, the officiating was just absolutely dreadful, dreadful. The officiating was just embarrassing. I mean, they missed a million calls. They have you have the touchdown, the kick return for touchdown that doesn't get called. You have the Hunter Henry touchdown, which I have no idea how that wasn't a catch. Makes absolutely no sense to me. You can say that the ball maybe hit the ground. He's holding it the whole time. He was holding the ball the entire time. He lost the ball when his right hand came off the ball. That's when he lost the ball, not because the ball hit the ground. He lost the ball because his right hand came off the ball as he was bringing the ball up. It was well after he hit the ground. It was just that was it was a terrible call, a terrible call. Um, so that one drove me crazy. And then you have the third down play where Hunter Henry gets held and kind of thrown to the ground a little bit. Mac Jones also gets a face mask to the face on that one. Mac Jones got sacked in the first sack of the game by Minnesota, gets tripped by Danielle Hunter, and then the next guy comes in and gives him a palm directly to the face. I don't know how you miss all that stuff. I just don't know how they do it. They missed a million calls against the Vikings. And look, and we'll talk about some of the mistakes the Patriots made because they made quite a few mistakes as well. And I don't want to say that you lose a game because of the officiating. And I still think the Patriots had chances to win this game and could have won it and ultimately lost the game because they could not um, they could not capitalize on those opportunities that they had, but the officiating made it extremely difficult for them to do that. I thought it was clearly one-sided. Clearly. Now the Patriots got a few calls. The missed false start by Trent Brown was like, "What are you doing? What could you possibly be looking at on that one?" I don't know how you missed that. And then the Justin Jefferson false start where Wise went offsides. By the way, that was the second time the Patriots had gone offsides on third and I think that one was 3rd and 8. The other one was 3rd and 12. You can't be doing that. Judon was the first one, was unevaded to the quarterback there. Just those are the types of things that can't happen, cannot happen. So that's frustrating. And then you get the ball in the fourth quarter and you can't do anything. You're back to the same old offense where you're not able to move the ball. No guys are open. You're running these long, routes that just aren't there. And so it's really frustrating. It was really frustrating to see in the fourth quarter, and the play calling wasn't great. Down, they go over 3 in the red zone, and of course the Hunter Henry play is part of that. But you go over 3 in the red zone, and one of those was at the end of the first half. But you got the Patriots had 8 seconds, first down. So you're like, okay, 8 seconds, great. I'm sorry, it was second down. Oh, it's Matt. What's up, Matt? Um, technically, it was 8 seconds on second down. Fine. You throw it into the end zone and Bourne doesn't get it. But there's 6 seconds left. Why not you run another fade? Throw this one to Parker this time. Like I don't understand why they didn't do that. And so that was one of the frustrating things for me. And Dark Blue Gold's saying too, death by 1,000 cuts, loads of avoidable errors that added up to not being good enough overall. And I agree with that. Like that's the unforced errors by the Patriots, right? The two offsides penalties, which is just inexcusable, and of course, one of those ended up being a false start penalty. But you can't do that. The other one was the running into the kicker. It's just like, man, like what are you doing on that? And look, the punter sells it, but it's a penalty. That's a penalty. You can't do that. And so you have to be better than that. He wasn't. Pierre Strong wasn't in that case. They get the first down. They end up scoring a touchdown on that drive. Just that's a massive, massive play by the Patriots. That's an unforced error. That's not he didn't get blocked into it. Nothing of that. He just a bad play from a rookie. And so that's one of those things. And look, Darker gets held on that kick return for touchdown. I think Slater also got blocked in the back, which later on in the game, like Slater got blocked in the back. There was one punt where Slater got blocked in the back twice and held on the same exact play. And Just no, don't worry about it. It's fine. And so, you know, it's just one of those things where like the officiating was bad, but again, the Patriots had a chance. They had a chance. They had an opportunity. Nelson Aguilar at the end of the game. I mean, that's disgusting. Disgusting from Nelson Aguilar's running a corner route and stops around the numbers. Like just stops, gets to the goal line and just, I'm not going to run to the corner. So Mac throws a ball to the corner to the why aren't you running to the pylon? It's a corner route. Run to the freaking pylon. Don't stop at the numbers. Run to the pylon. If Aguilar runs to the pylon, he catches that ball. And it's a miracle 4th and 16 completion that gets you down to the 2-yard line. And now the Patriots have the ball with a chance to tie the game. It's just, that's the type of stuff where it's like, you cannot have those things happen. You can't. And unfortunately, it happened quite a bit tonight. And that's the type of stuff that, John Jones drops 2 interceptions. One of them was an incompletion. One of them was a catch. Like, you have to make those plays. When the plays are put in front of you, you have to make them. And when you don't make them, you lose games. And the Patriots, frankly, they're not good enough to overcome. We've been talking about this all year. They're not good enough to overcome the mistakes that they make. They're not good enough to do that. They used to be. When you had Tom Brady and your team was rolling and your team was a solid team, you could make mistakes and still survive. You can't do that anymore. It doesn't work that way anymore. And so that's one of those things. And Justin Jefferson is a freak. He's a freak. He's not human. Like he's unbelievable. He makes ridiculous catches. John Jones got worked tonight, and it's not all his fault. Some of it was his fault, but I mean, sometimes it's just like the guy's just way better than you. What are you gonna do? Like he's the best receiver in football, and they can get him the ball basically at will whenever they want. And so the Cowboys shut him down last week. I think that had more to do with the pressure than them necessarily covering him very well. You need time. To get those balls downfield. The catch where McCourty hit him at the same time was incredible. He holds on to it. What are you gonna do? Like he holds on to the ball. And so sometimes those plays are good enough, and on Thursday night it wasn't. And so that's just the way it goes. So I thought the defensive line was bad. Great against the run. Did a great job shutting down Dalvin Cook. They did a great job. Cook, I think, had like 20 yards rushing tonight, which was great. So I was happy about that. But, it's not enough. Not enough, right, from the defense. And, they were in zone sometimes. And part of the problem is that you have to play zone because you don't have anyone that can cover Justin Jefferson. And no one has anyone that can cover Justin Jefferson. But you're in zone, so you're giving Cousins, easy reads. But now you look at it and say, okay, you got to get after the quarterback. You got to be able to get there. And they weren't able to do that. Josh Uche had a nice sack. But, Judon couldn't get in there. None of the down linemen could. I mean, look, you saw what happened. Uquale forced Cousins into a bad throw. He sailed it, and John Jones picked it off easily. Like, was great. Then you get the ball at the 16-yard line, go 3 and out, and kick a field goal. And so it's just like, it's that type of stuff. It's the same red zone stuff that you just, you hate watching from them. So, sorry about that. But that's, the offensive play calling needs to get better. Though I thought it was better tonight. They had opportunities down the field and they didn't take them. And I don't get it, man. I don't get it. And Gary, thank you for sticking through till the morning with us. It's what, was it almost 5:00 over there? That's commitment. That's real commitment over there. So we appreciate you. But you just look. I think that Mac had a solid game. He threw for 382 yards this game, right? And I know the fourth quarter wasn't great. It wasn't, and I'm not saying it was. But what happened in the fourth quarter? The offensive line stopped blocking quite as well, right? All of a sudden, there were guys in his face, and and he had pressure, and they were calling these longer plays, longer developing plays. They weren't running play action as much because play action wasn't working because they couldn't run the ball really effectively. Damian Harris is out of the game, so it was just Ramondre Stevenson. So all these things kind of pile up, and now you're looking at it saying, well, Mac didn't look as good in the fourth quarter. Well, yeah, I mean, you're losing. And, you couldn't, you go into the fourth quarter with a lead, and then you can't add on to the lead, number one, and you can't hold the lead, number two. And and so yeah, Mac didn't look as good in the fourth quarter as he had the first three quarters, and I agree with that. But at the same time, it's not just on Mac; it's on the rest of the team who couldn't hold the lead defensively, who made stupid mistakes on stupid penalties on the special teams. Who I don't know what the coverage was on that Adam Thielen touchdown. I'm not sure what it was. It looked to me like Mills had to stay with Thielen across the field because they were double teaming Jefferson. And then, Jack Jones then has to take, when he passes him off, he has to take McCourty's spot. The problem is that he's already in the middle of the field. Thielen's running the other way. I don't know, I don't know. I don't know what happens there. So, I'm not sure, and I'm not sure. I don't think I agree with you, Dark Blue Gold, about his poor pocket awareness. He's trying to make a play. At the end of the game, he's trying to make plays. I mean, that's just, you get the sack on the goal line was just like, he's just trying to make, you get 50 seconds left to make a play, and you're running the ball, you're running basically full verts, right? And so, like, he has to hold on to the ball because nobody's open yet, right? So it's like, and there's nowhere for him to go. The pocket collapses. He can't step up in the pocket. So, he's forced to take a sack there, unfortunately. And, it just kind of is what it is. And then, Kendrick Bourne can't get out of bounds on the next play. And then, Jakobi Meyers just goes down in the middle of the field. I don't really know what that was, but it just seemed like they didn't have a play called for, let's try to score on this play. You know what I mean? Like, or at least throw it to the boundary. They didn't do any of that stuff. So, I don't know. It was an extremely frustrating game. And again, it's marred by the officials to me. It's marred by the officials because that's the worst part of it for me, is that the officiating should never decide a game. You should never walk away from a game saying, man, that team got screwed. That team got screwed by the officiating. And you walk out of this game saying the Patriots got screwed. There's no way around it. The Patriots got screwed by the officials. Again, not why they lost. They had opportunities to win, and they could have won, and they should have won anyways. But you walk out of this game saying the officiating sucked, and that hurts, And Matt asked a question about is next week a must-win game? If you want to make the playoffs in the AFC, next week's as close to a must-win as you're going to get, because, if you lose now, you're back down to 6-6, and maybe you can make the playoffs at 9-7, maybe, or I'm sorry, at 9-8, maybe. But then that means you can only lose one game the rest of the way through, one or two games, depending on, I think 10-7 gets you into the playoffs, but then you can only lose one game the rest of the way. So then who's that game to? Cincinnati on Christmas Eve? Then you got to beat the Bills again. You got to beat Miami. So like they got a little bit of a tough road here, and this is a game that was a winnable game. It was there for the taking. Again, the officiating was bad, 100%. Absolutely, officiating was sucked. It did. That might have been the worst officiated game I've ever seen, just from all aspects. It was bad. But the Patriots had opportunities to win, and they shot themselves in the foot. And that's what you've seen from them consistently this year, and it's frustrating that you see it again. Now, I mean, does that make next week a must-win game? I don't know. Maybe. But either way, you can only lose one or two more games the rest of the way through. And this one was one that I really would have liked to have won. I really would have liked to have won this one. It's the way it goes, you know. Yeah, my lungs are full of cranberry sauce. They're full of apple pies. They're full of dark blue gold. Um, but you know, it's tough. It's a tough loss. There's no way to slice it. And again, the offense played well until the fourth quarter. The offense played really well until the fourth quarter. They were great, borderline like competent. Um, but you know that's the thing. And Gary, I think it's a great point, Gary. Like we have to be almost perfect to stick with these better teams. We're not that good. The Patriots are not that good of a team. They're okay. They're an okay team. They're a fringe playoff team. The Vikings are a good team. If you want to stick with the Vikings, you got to play really well. And if the Vikings are playing well, you have to be damn near perfect. And they weren't. You know, and again, I'll keep coming back to it. The officiating sucked. It did. Absolutely. Not why they lost. It's not why they lost. You know, it's just not why they lost. And Jefferson's a better receiver than Stephon Diggs, so I don't want to hear about that. So, but I just, you know, man, they had opportunities. I thought Yodny just played well tonight. The offensive line overall played well. Right? Trent Brown gives up 2 sacks in the end of the game, and like, you know, it kind of is what it is, but like Ramondre was great. Now Damian Harris is out with an injury. Like the injuries now are piling up again. Damian Harris leaves with an injury. Myers has been in and out with an injury. So like, you know, we'll see. I don't know. It's tough, you know? So again, sorry, I got a tickle in my throat or something here, but I don't know. That's it. It's frustrating. Real frustrating game. But listen, they're still in it. They're 6-5. They're not too far out, but you're not in the top 7 anymore in the AFC, which is tough. And so now you got a tough game next week against the Bills. Hold on, sorry. Whew, all right. You got a tough game next week against the Bills, and it becomes, if not a must-win, almost a must-win. You got to at least show you can play with the Bills, even if you can't win. You got to at least show you can play with them. I don't know if they can. I don't know. So we'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Even at midnight or 5 a.m. if you're over in London, we appreciate that as always. And we'll be back this week with the Bills guy. Bills guy coming on, talk some Bills. We'll have some fun. Spence coming on the show again, so we'll have some fun with him. And hopefully everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I know it didn't end great, and it didn't start great with the stupid Bills winning as well. But hopefully everyone had an enjoyable Thanksgiving and ate a ton of food and passed out on the couch, maybe even. So, but we appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you this week.